What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video, and in this one, I want to talk to you guys about how the New England Patriots are actually still interested in re-signing linebacker Dont'a Hightower, despite what many fans think. Now, many fans do believe that the Patriots were just done with Dont'a Hightower, that, if Dont'a Hightower is going to play anywhere in the NFL, it's likely going to be anywhere but the Patriots, and I believed myself that Dont'a Hightower just wasn't getting a lot of interest around the NFL. Believe it or not, though, that statement is not true, as the Patriots aren't not interested in Dont'a Hightower. They're waiting on Dont'a Hightower. Hightower himself is not sure if he wants to return yet for the 2022 season, which is what has kept him unsigned in the NFL up until this point. Now, the Patriots have gone out and said that, they are interested in re-signing Dont'a Hightower. It would obviously just be at a much more minimal deal that he's gotten compared to previous years. Now, this does make a lot of sense, as Dont'a Hightower did put up one of the worst years statistically in 2021 after deciding to opt out of the 2020 season. He actually ranked, according to PFF, the 58th best linebacker out of 87 qualified. Also, to put that into perspective, he was the worst graded Patriots linebacker. Now, Dont'a Hightower, mainly for the Patriots, one is a defensive leader, which the Patriots obviously could use as many leaders as they could possibly get, especially in the linebacker group, with many of those guys either being new or just being very young. He's also mainly a run stopper, and other than that, especially at this point in his career, he's not going to provide much more than that. This past season, he put up an overall defensive grade of 49.6, a run defensive grade of 65.9, a pass rush grade of 57.7, and a coverage grade of 34.5. He was given a total of 679 defensive snaps, with 302 of those coming as a run defensive snaps, and 114 of those coming from pass rush, and then 263 of those coming from coverage snaps. A surprising amount of coverage snaps for Dont'a Hightower, who has proven on several occasions to not be a good coverage linebacker. Now, at 32 years old, if he does decide to come back to football, he's not going to be playing for much longer. And my own personal opinion on this move is that, yeah, from a on-the-field perspective, off-the-field perspective, in the locker room, during practice, Dont'a Hightower is a great guy to have, and that's really the only reason that I would bring him back. But if you do decide to bring him back, I'm making sure to not put Dont'a Hightower on the field very often for the specific stats that I just announced. The Patriots secondary already has a lot of questions. With that being said, you want to put your best coverage linebackers on the field with your secondary already having these questions, and putting Hightower on the field is not going to help that situation at all. In fact, it's going to make the secondary have to perform at a larger, more substantial level to help make up for the issues of Dont'a Hightower not being able to help out in coverage, again, with a 34.5 overall coverage grade. Obviously, too, at 32 years old, there's not really much left in the tank for Hightower. So if the Patriots do end up re-signing him, the best outcome I see is that they're bringing him back to be more of a mentor role. Because in every aspect that Hightower brings, whether that's in coverage, whether that's at stopping the run, or whether that's at rushing the passer, you have a linebacker currently on the team who in every phase of that can do better than Hightower has. And at this point, letting him on the field is just going to be more of a liability. But I do believe from a teaching and mentoring perspective, there's still a lot that Hightower can offer. This past year, I also will say Dont'a Hightower's missed tackle percentage really took a much bigger leap compared to what we've seen over the last couple seasons. Now, like I said, he did decide to opt out of the 2020 season, but in 2019, in which he actually made the Pro Bowl, he had a missed tackle rate of 4.1%. In 2018, he had a missed tackle percentage of 7.7%, but this past year, that missed tackle rate was 13.5%. The total amount of air yards he's allowed on completions he's allowed also has been up compared to recent years. 2018, he allowed 90 yards. 2019, he allowed 59 yards. This past year, allowed 96 yards. He also allowed a passer rating when targeted of 109.4. To put this a little bit more into perspective, the receiving yards that opponents had per times that he was targeted was 7.7 yards per reception. That's almost average to a first down per reception that Hightower allowed. Another area that I do want to mention that kind of puts how Donta Hightower took a big step back this past year is completion percentage allowed when targeted. Now, that number has never been great for Hightower because it's never been a coverage guy, but in 2018, he allowed that completion percentage of 71.4. In 2019, allowed 69%. This past year, he allowed a completion percentage when targeted of 90.3. And you look at this Patriots linebacker core for the 2022 season versus the 2021 season, and I do believe that, physically and the way they perform on the field is going to be a lot better. But I think there's going to be times where we go, dear God, what are you doing? And it's just going to be those young football rookie moments. Because last year we just had a lot of veterans. I mean, Donta Hightower, Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins, these were your main starting linebackers. And let's be honest, it's great to have veteran presence, but at the end of the day, those guys are slow. They're sluggish. They're not in their prime. They're taking that step back at this point in their career versus what the Patriots are going to have this upcoming season, which is a lot of athletic, young players that bring more to the table that are in their prime, but we just don't really know what to expect out of them. Guys like Juwan Bentley, Mack Wilson, Raekwon McMillan. I think you could even throw someone like Anthony Jennings in there. Josh Uche, I expect to play a little bit of linebacker. Even Ronnie Perkins. And of course, Cameron McGrone, who I expect to take a big leap in his second year with the Patriots. So of course, with that being said, I do believe that there is a role here for Donta Hightower, but it is most definitely not on the field. And if the Patriots are going to re-sign him, I would not want anything more than $5 million. In fact, I think $5 million is even pushing it, but that is the absolute maximum that I would give somebody like Donta Hightower, who has been making well over $10 million per year in his contract over the last few seasons, and decided that when the Patriots, asked him to take a pay cut, he wasn't going to. The role you're going to get from Donta Hightower at this point is going to be that veteran guy, that mentoring role for these young linebackers that I just listed. And I do think that that could really, really go a long way because Donta Hightower knows this system. He's been a pivotal role in the last, decade or two for this team. So I do believe from that mentoring and teaching perspective, these guys could get a lot out of him. But again, from a on-the-field player perspective, if that's something you're trying to get out of Hightower, I would absolutely just completely pass on it. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? What are your guys' thoughts on the Patriots still having interest in bringing Hightower back? And if you think they will bring him back, why do you think that they're deciding to bring him back? For an on-the-field player perspective or for that mentoring role? And if he doesn't re-sign with the Patriots, do you think he decides to retire or sign somewhere else? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, I appreciate you guys for watching. And like always, go Pats.